Hello, and welcome to The Gathering, a Magic podcast. My name's Stanley, and I'm here with some of my best friends to talk to you about our favorite game, Magic the Gathering. And I think I messed the intro up a little bit, but only a little bit, so it's fine. Today is definitely going to be our coolest episode yet, because there's Sully right there, starring in the show. But after Spotlight Sully, we have 20th place finisher from the Pro Tour Final Fantasy, Nicholas Odenheimer, here with us as usual. But now he's no longer PT qualified, Nick. He's top 20 PT finisher, Nick, which is pretty disgustingly cool. Nick's going to talk a bunch about his Pro Tour experience, and after that we'll talk about Modern a little bit, because that's the RCQ season, and that's still happening, and there's a BNR, like, soon. Hopefully I get this episode out before the BNR. We'll see. Should be out at least a little bit before the BNR, so we'll talk about that a little bit. But before we get into the PT action, as usual, thank you so much to our sponsor, FlexSlot. We love FlexSlot. Fantastic website. Great place to build your decks. Great place to build your sideboard guides. And congrats to Ian Robb from FlexSlot Diamond coming in second at the Pro Tour. FlexSlot is a big deal and only getting bigger. So if you have not checked out flexslot.gg yet, you definitely should. It's where I make all my deck lists. It's where I make all my sideboard guides. It is probably the Magic website I use most. So flexslot.gg. Thanks for sponsoring the show. And yeah, with that. That was wonderful. Hopefully I can edit that out. But, Nick, congratulations, dude. Just insanity. I don't, insanity, dude. Go ahead. Say words.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't know. I had one expectation going in, and it was to draft a second time. I just wanted a 4/4 so I could get some more PT stamp cards. I ended up getting my fourth win in round 5, so I was 4-1, which is pretty crazy because I know some people just scrape in at 4-4 or whatever. But I was round 5, won my fourth round, so that was awesome. And yeah, I mean, after that, momentum kept going, and I ended up 11-5 for 20th place. So I got the super expensive cloud promos and a nice chunk, and then requalify for the next one, which is obviously amazing. Yeah.
So at 4-1, you qualify for day 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then what was your record when you re-queued?
I was 10-4 when I re-queued, which is also crazy because apparently 12-win players qualify for the World Championship, and we're also top 8 live. So I was 10-4, re-qualified, and then I was like, oh, now I have to keep trying because apparently if I get 2 more wins, then I could go to the World Championship.
Well, tell the story about how you figured that out, because you sat down at 10-4, and Tell me about the exchange between you and your opponent, because there's a story there.
Even before I sat down at 10-4, I remember I was like at our little meeting table with Julianne, Ron, and the rest of my family. And I was like, man, I'm over it. Like I'm 10-4. Like what is the point of still playing? Like I came what I came for. What's the point in keep going? I'm over it. Like I already locked in. It's so hard today. But obviously I'm not gonna just drop or anything. So I do go play my round. Thank goodness. And I end up playing against Derek Davis, he's a known player on the PT, and I'm just happy already. Nothing to think about, just playing. And he's very very nice guy, very social. So we're just yapping, and I end up asking him hey, are we live for top 8? Like, what's the deal, you know? And he was like, oh, well, we're, like, technically live. Like, our tiebreakers probably aren't good enough, so we're not going to get in. But if you get 12 wins, then you qualify for the World Championship, which is, like, what he was trying to do. And I was like, oh, okay, so this match matters a lot then, huh?
Very
that
quickly
was
from I'm over it to, we're
Yeah,
playing
exactly.
for Worlds.
Yeah, exactly. Which is crazy. Yeah, I got demolished by him, so then my World Championship dreams ended very quickly. But then I played against Arnie Huschenbeth in round 16, also a really nice guy. We had a pretty back and forth close match, and I ended up winning that, so I snuck into, well, I didn't sneak in, I was solidly top 32. And yeah, the rest is history, I suppose.
That's awesome. Let's dive in a little bit, like, chronologically. So,
Sure.
Thursday, you had some kind of cool interview, right?
Yeah, I did. I got interviewed by Elida Loney, talking about just Standard in general, like my thoughts on it, like what I would have played if I didn't play Prowess. So that was like a nice way to start at it's like a Thursday pre-Pro Tour party where like player registration is. So I had that interview, which was pretty cool. I mean, like a handful, I think the whole top 8 of the last Pro Tour got interviewed, and then they handpicked like 6 other people, and so they picked the 2 spotlight winners so far, and then Scott, who is the finalist of Atlanta. So the 3 of us got interviewed for Standard. That was very cool. I wasn't sure if I was gonna get actually like put on, because I didn't really think my answers were that good or anything like that. And I didn't hear anything about it until like halfway through Saturday, which, to be fair, that's when they said they would air it. But halfway through Saturday, then I see like my Discord's blowing up, and I was like, oh, look, Nick's on camera again, you know? So that was pretty cool. But yeah.
Nice. And then Friday morning draft. Talk to me about, like, so you were all the way in West Coast time, so you were 3 hours ahead or behind, I guess. So what time did draft actually start, and what time was that for us here?
So it started at 9 a.m. Vegas time, which is noon our time. So
Yeah.
I got pretty lucky in the sense of, like, you know, I'm still acting on East Coast time by this point, so I'm not really tired at all or anything like that. Like, I'm spry and ready to go. You know, it's just noon.
Yeah.
So
How late
that's
did
always
the day end up going? What time did you guys finish?
I want to say like 7:30. I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like 10:30 Tampa time, which, like, I usually go to bed around 10. So a little late, but like not anything where I was like exhausted or anything by the end.
Yeah, you
so
catch it on the back end a little bit, but
Yeah.
not too bad.
yeah.
So, how was the Pro Tour draft? Was it? I feel like it must have been pretty stressful, the first one, or were you just like Nick Odenheimer, like, I'm Nick, it's fine?
No, I mean, it was stressful. I mean, I'm glad we did like mock drafts the week before where we kind of like tested the times and stuff, because everyone's in a room. They just have like one announcer who's doing all of the calls, you know, so everyone's just listening to this one guy calling it, and you only have like 40 seconds for your like first pick, and then it goes like 35, and then quickly goes down to like 30-20 or something like that. So the time pressure's on. There's no like talking whatsoever, and they're quick with it, right? Like when the
So
30
if you
seconds,
open a bomb, you can't be like, oh guys, look, I
yeah,
got
exactly, yeah, something like that. No, but like the second those times are out, they're like, all right, pick a card, and then they give you like 2 seconds to like fan out your pack to the next person and then take the next pack. So I luckily wasn't holding anything up, but I did notice like around me there were some people like a little slower to like put the cards down, so like the person taking the pack is gonna lose like 2 seconds or whatever, which when you only have like 20 seconds, that matters a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was pretty stressful. Nothing went wrong in my draft. The only thing that was kind of funny was because they sleeve the cards for the sake of like there's double face cards, they don't want you to have to like reveal the pack to everyone. They sleeve them, and so all of the top sleeves on all of the draft packs were damaged, and so they start by saying like, hey, like fan out your pack, like count the pack, make sure there's 14 cards, and if there's any damage, like call for a judge. And literally everyone in that room, like, called for a judge, raised their hand because of this damaged sleeve on the top, because of the casing. And then they just decided, you know what? Everyone has it. Let's just move on. So they basically were just like, don't track the pack. Like, just, it is what it is, basically.
Yeah.
And then they ended up fixing this for day 2 because they were still damaged, but they ended up putting in extra sleeves on every single table so people could replace that one damaged card. So that was kind of funny. But, yeah.
And did you like your draft deck? Were you excited? Were you medium? Were you...
So, like, going in, I knew, like, the top 4 archetypes, probably in order, were, like, blue-red, blue-black, black-green, and then red-white. Like, those are the 4 I was really looking out for, generally. Pack One, Pick One is, like, I had no Pack One, Pick One like it in all the times I ended up drafting, because I'm basically looking for bomb rare or I'm looking for decent removal spell. And my Pack One has neither of these things. So I'm like, okay, like, my 2 rares suck. Just like I think it was like the Mill Land, and then I don't even remember the other card. It was useless. And so I'm like, okay, like, what's the next best card here? So I ended up taking Samurai's Katanas, which, like, it's a very decent card, but it's never something I would think about Pack One, Pick One. Like, that's something that wheels sometimes, you know? So I ended up taking that. There were some other, like, decent green cards in the pack, but I just think green sucked in general, so I would just rather take the Katanas, just keep myself open, because I like it in pretty much any red deck you're going to play. And then I quickly get rewarded because my Pack 1 Pick 2 is a Cloud. And so I'm like, okay, now I'm just solidly in Boros equipment. So that ended up working out because Boros was super open. I ended up getting like 2 Guillotes, which is the 2-mana 1/1 double striking dwarf that says whenever it or another equipment comes in, you loot, which is pretty solid. And then, yeah, the deck just kind of built itself, got a couple good equipments. I didn't think the deck was very good, honestly, but I ended up going 2-1. I think when you play limited, it's generally a good idea to try to be on the aggressive side if you think your deck isn't very good, because then you punish these decks that have bombs but just don't have the time to deploy these bombs, which is kind of what happened. I mean, I kind of just, like, rolled 2 of my opponents and the other person rolled me. But, yeah, I mean... 2-1ing my first Pro Tour draft is definitely great. I can't ask for too much more than that. So, yeah, it ended up working out.
Nice. And then it was your first constructed match was feature match against Quinn, right?
Yeah, first constructed match. So I'm getting, nerves are out. Like, all right, first constructed match of the day. Like, hopefully I don't get anyone crazy. And then I get my pairing. I'm like, Quinn. So, probably the best red player in the world. And he's playing Mono Red, which is like a bad matchup for Izzet generally. So I'm like, okay, so first round of Constructed is against Quinn on Mono Red, and then not even like 10 seconds later, feature matches for round 4, Quinn Tonoli versus Nicholas Oda. I'm like, oh my gosh, and I'm on the feature match. So, there's definitely some nerves there. I've been in the feature match area before, but never the Pro Tour feature match area, and they make that thing look crazy. So that's a whole other ball game as Pro Tour feature matches. So yeah, played that.
You clutched it out though.
I did. I ended up winning, and I was like the 4th backup match, funny enough. But then they ended up casting it, which is super cool too. So not only do I play my first Pro Tour feature match, I win my first Pro Tour feature match, and it ends up on camera, which is super cool. And also, of course, like, my very first game of Constructed of the feature match, like, showcases how broken Vivi can be sometimes, which is super cool too. It's funny because I don't remember if it was, like, super obvious on camera. It probably is if you watch it, but I, like, tap my 3 mana, and I, like, about to play my Vivi, then I kind of look at my hand, like, okay, I have a stock up, I have a Vivi, like, which one am I going to play? And I'm just like, screw it. Like, if Vivi dies, like, it dies. I'm probably not winning this game anyway, so I just slammed the Vivi, and then he tanks for like 2 minutes, doesn't kill it. I'm like, all right, like, let's go crazy now.
I think you did the old like tap, untap, tap again.
Yes,
there was
a
little stutter tap there.
Yeah, because I was like, I can VV rage like the same turn, but then I'm not attacking next turn if I do that. So I'm like, let me just play it. Like, if he has the frenzy, at least he's doing his whole turn doing that.
Yeah,
and obviously it worked out. And it's funny too because I definitely think because Mono Red is pretty much pre-boarded for prowess, like, I think game 1 is harder for prowess, and I was also on the draw. So, like, these things just keep stacking up. Like, Mono Red, Quintanoli playing it on the draw, like, couldn't be worse, but Vivi just crushed it, so it was awesome.
Yeah, nice. And then, what else happened on day 1? Did you play against Reduke day 1?
I did, and Reduke was my, like, 4th win. So not only do I end up playing against Reduke, I 2-0 Reduke. Our games are not very competitive, which... it's funny because, like, I go into it hating Domain, and I'm like, I want to have something that's good against Domain, because I hate the deck. I don't think the matchup is very bad, but I just hate Domain. Yeah. And then I queue against Reduke, of all people, with 4 High Noons in his main deck. I'm like, alright, well, this will be tough. But then I do the classic, like, he has 2 High Noons in play, and I'm like, alright, end of your turn, I'll cast this town, bounce both your High Noons, and then, like, pop off on my turn, and then I end up winning game 2 off just like a crab on his end step, backed up by a Spell Pierce, which is sick. And yeah, so I 2-0 Reduke for my 4th win to get into day 2, which is obviously awesome. By that point, I'm like, I don't even care what happens. Like, I'm in day 2, you know, and I beat Reduke. I ended up losing round 6 to the Mirror because my opponent outplayed me, and obviously outplayed me means they drew better, because that's what the Mirror is all about. Then round 7, I beat Marcio Carvalho because I outplayed him in the Mirror, and by outplayed I mean I drew better than him. Our match was really cool though, because he did like the cutter into cutter thing, which usually prowess can't, like in the Mirror match the other prowess player can't really beat that. But I had kind of a disgusting line where I ended up having a cutter of my own, and he's at like 20 life, and I end up triggering cutter on my turn with like a sleight of hand and a talent, attacking him, passing, and then on his turn he only has 1 card in hand. He moves to combat with like 4 monks in play, and I'm like, no, crab, tap 2, and then he like goes to attack the other 2. I'm like, no, wait, crab, trigger cutter, tap 2, and I see like his hands kind of just like do this, and he's like, what is happening right now, you know? And then he is unpassing to me because he has nothing to do. I end up triggering my cutter again, cast like 4 spells, and I'm like, attack for 25? And he's like, wow. And it was funny because, you know, we're packing up our cards and everything. He's just like, I thought I was going to win that game. I'm like, I thought you were too. You know, and we're just like both kind of in disbelief that I'm able to win that game from that position, because I was at like 4 life, like I was just dead to anything. But double crab trigger cutter on his turn just did what I needed to.
Yeah, that Eddie Merc crab card is pretty good, huh?
It is, yeah. Crab was the feature of the whole weekend for me. So, yeah, and then round 8, I lose the Mirror. I got outplayed like usual. So yeah, I end up ending day 1 5-3, which is great. I mean, you're locked for day 2. All you have to do is repeat that for day 2 to end up requalifying. So pretty good position to be in. I mean, it would have been great if I could win that last round, but you know, can't complain too much. But yeah.
Nice. And remind me, how late did we convince you to switch from Hatcher to Crab? It was pretty late in the game, right? Was it the last day or the day before?
I don't think it was that late. I think we tested standard like not the weekend before, but the weekend before that we had like a standard playtesting day. And then I remember I was like testing Dracatcher and Planisphere, and I ended up just not liking the 2-drops very much at all. And so then you were kind of just like, just play Crab. I'm like, alright. No, I remember, because I ended up not wanting to play 2-drops, so I ended up playing like the Thundertrap Trainer Roaring Furnace list. And I played that like on Arena pretty much up until the weekend before. And then after playing enough games with that deck, I really liked the Roaring Furnace, Thundertrap Trainer, like deck shell that was going on. But Thundertrap Trainer itself was awful. I mean, it was a 2-mana 1/2. It looks at the bottom 4 cards of your deck for me, and I was just like kind of tired of it being that. So that's when I don't remember. Maybe I asked you to just like playtest a list if you had any thoughts or anything, and then we just decided let's just play Crab over Thundertrap Trainer at this point. And I'm like, yeah, I mean Thundertrap Trainer sucks, so why not? And then I think the thing that excited me the most about it was it just opens up more sideboard slots because I wanted to fit in like I think a second Sunspine Lynx and something else. And I was like, well, if this Crab I have in my sideboard just moves to the main, then I get to like open that slot up. So
yeah, I'm going through the DMs. I'm trying to trace it back because I know you like to jump into the DMs. It was the Monday where I played the league and we were talking, and you then were like, okay, I'll try Crabs in the main deck, and then it was actually Tuesday. It was the day before submission. You texted me, all right, I'm locking in Crabs main deck. So it really was like
it was late, yeah.
Yeah, there was. I remember the Testing House Planisphere being like, well, when you put it on a prowess creature and I don't have any interaction, it's like pretty disgusting, but
yeah,
otherwise kind of medium. So the 11th hour coming in clutch.
Yeah.
So then draft number 2.
Yep.
Crushed it at 2-1 again.
2-1 again. And they have drafting Boros again, which again wasn't like my star archetype going in, but it just worked out that way. I had a pack 1, pick 1 Ferion, which is the 3-mana 3/3 that says your equipped creatures have haste, and then whenever an equipment comes in, you make a copy of it and you sack it at end of turn, which is really good with the job select cards. So that was my pack 1, pick 1. I honestly don't remember much else about that draft. Like actually drafting, the only thing I remember specifically was white was super open because I got like a pick 9 white Auracite, which is kind of wild that like that's the best removal spell in white and it wheeled. Like that just shows like no one's playing white pretty much, or like there was a super broken card that they picked over it. So that's the only thing I really remember about my draft. I remember. Yeah, that's actually all I remember. I mean, my deck was, again, kind of medium. I didn't get a Cloud this time, but I felt like my deck was better at least. Like, I just felt like I had better threats, better rares overall. So, it felt good.
So, I feel like a lot of people on Twitter are echoing, like, Final Fantasy Limited is awesome. So far, all I've heard about your games are like, yeah, I beat my opponent. Oh yeah, I lost. Like, did you feel like the limited portion was like awesome? Like you had sweet interactive gameplay, or like somebody just kind of curved out and killed the other person?
At the Pro Tour, it was kind of just like curved out, killed someone. Like I don't think many of my games were particularly interesting at the Pro Tour. Like I had games where classic my opponent flooded and I killed them because I was playing an aggro deck, or like I had to mulligan to 5 and you never win those games in limited. I think like the only really cool moment from that draft, my second draft, which I still talk about to people, I thought was super cool, was pack 3 pick 1 for that draft. I ended up taking an Ultima, not because I had any intention in playing Ultima, but because I didn't want anyone else to have Ultima in their deck. So I take that. The second pack also has an Ultima, and I'm like, okay, at least this pack I have like a card I'd rather take. So I like took the card from my deck and passed it. But fast forward to round 3 of that draft, so which is round 11 of the Pro Tour, my opponent's deck is kind of insane. It's a white-black, like, equipment's like a lot of good sacrifice energy. And I'm just like, I don't know how I'm going to beat this deck, because his deck was just so much better than mine. And so he demolishes me game 1, and then game 2, I'm like, I'm just going to bring an Ultima, because my opponent's deck is so much better. I'm like, I think I just need some kind of, reset the game card. So I bring in this Ultima. Game 2, he plays the Poison the Waters card with Thoughtseize me, and he sees the Ultima, but he can't take it, so it only takes artifacts and creatures. And so he knows the Ultima is coming, which like makes it a lot less good. But I end up casting it like on turn 10 of that game, wipe his board, play like one random follow-up threat, and it wins me that game. So shout out to the Cyborg Ultima I decided to take just because I didn't want anyone else to have it. It was just the nuts in that match. So yeah, that was cool. But nice. No, I mean, do think Final Fantasy Limited is really good. I mean, I'm not much of a limited player, but I had a lot of fun playtesting for this event. Like, once I finished the Pro Tour, like, at the airport, I just kept drafting just because, like, I was having so much fun, like, with the decks. I just think all the strategies are really good. They're cohesive. I feel like while having bombs matters, I feel like it is less rare dependent. I think it's pretty bonus sheet dependent. I think the bonus sheet cards are broken, but as far as like the actual rares in the set, I don't think there's a ton of rares that shine as way better than some of the commons and stuff. So yeah, I also just felt like I had a good handle on the limited format. I mean, I knew what archetypes I wanted to play going in, which definitely helped my confidence level. But yeah, I mean, so yeah, long story short, to answer your question, I don't think the PT games were particularly interesting, but I do think the format's really fun.
Nice. Yeah, and I love that story about Ultima, especially because I remember I was saying some nonsense about like, man, every time I try to wheel a card, it doesn't wheel, so I need to stop. And then you were like, yeah, something that I need to do is like think more about hate drafting. I never think about hate drafting because, like, especially in Arena, it doesn't matter. But because you stay in your pod at the Pro Tour, I need to remember that hate drafting is a thing. So then you remembered that hate drafting was a thing, and
it worked out for sure.
Paid off big time.
Yeah.
So prep again, coming in clutch.
Yeah. So
did you go 4-1 in Constructed on day 2?
I did, yeah. 4-1 in Constructed.
That's insane.
Yeah, so... And obviously, like, this is where it gets harder, right? Because then you're playing, you're in day 2, you're playing against, like, better players overall. So I was 7-4 at that point. If Julianne or Ron remembers, I don't remember what my round 12 opponent was playing. I have no idea.
I can find it.
Your mic is like so weird.
Julianne is like in an airport.
Yeah. It was Omni. Yeah, it was Omni because I played against Omni, which I beat. Then after that, I played against Naya Yuna, and then. So then I was 9-4, and then after that, I played my winning into Riku against Christopher Larson, who was also playing Omni. And then, so then I was 10-4 at that point. Then I play against Derek Davis on Omni, get crushed by him, and then my last round I play against Arnie, who's on Jeskai Control, and I beat him. So yeah. I was pretty happy to beat Naya Yuna because the way his deck was built was super teched to beat Prowess, but I just think my draws lined up way better than his. He never actually cast the card Yuna, which certainly helps.
I'm not going to accidentally transition us to the BNR talk, but I feel like on average decks that are tech to beat is it, they usually don't. It's just so hard to beat the deck. It attacks on so many angles. So
yeah, I mean, I went 7-3 overall, which is 6-1 in non-mirror matches, which is crazy at the Pro Tour levels.
My
only loss was to Derek on Omni, and while I don't think I played worse by any means, it was definitely where my mindset was at the point of it doesn't matter what happens from here on out. I don't think that actually affected our games whatsoever, but maybe it did. But he obliterated me when usually Omni is I think pretty good as a matchup. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean I think you probably took your first breath for a long time and relax a little bit, and then it's here comes a Pro Tour player.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was funny he was a super nice guy, but it was funny sitting across from him because he looked at me and he was like, I recognize you somewhere, and then he was like, oh, Heavy Play, you're on Rampant Growth. I'm like, no, I'm not on Rampant Growth. I just have the jacket. I'm just, sponsored by Heavy Play as a company, not the pro team. And he's like, oh, okay. But I never ended up telling him anything else. So he like just kept looking at me, and he was like, where do I recognize you from?
You didn't I was just like, tell him you won the spotlight?
Yeah, and I'm like, oh yeah, I won Spotlight Atlanta. And he was like, oh, okay, with Layla. And I was like, yeah. He's like, okay, very cool. But yeah, that was funny. And like, it's just really cool because Reed Duke also recognized me from that. So like the fact Reed Duke knew who I was is like kind of crazy. And also so did Arnie, because Arnie mentioned it and he was like, you won like the first spotlight, right? I was like, yeah, I did. He's like, I've seen some of your feature matches. I'm like, wow, like Arnie's seen my feature matches. Like I love watching Arnie's feature matches. Like the fact Arnie's seen my feature matches is like crazy. Awesome. But yeah, so super cool.
Does anyone else have questions for Nick?
I know Julianne and Ron were with me the whole weekend, but, you know, if it's anything there.
Nick, were there any Final Fantasy cards in Constructed that surprised you in either a good or a bad way?
Ooh.
Jacob came ready. He's got his questions.
I know. I believe I played against 0 Final Fantasy cards besides Vivi. So, I guess what surprised me was that my opponents playing Vivi didn't board Vivi out. I guess that kind of surprised me. But I don't think so. I mean, I was surprised how many cards Mono Red adopted from the new set. Like, I really thought Mono Red was going to be like business as usual, like the same deck that was already winning. But I think Ken Yukihiro won with Self-Destruct in his deck, and I know one of the other top 8 players was playing Opera Love Songs in their deck. So I definitely did not expect that. I just thought Mono was going to be same old list, but...
And Suplex?
Yeah. Suplex? I love the one of Self-Destruct. That's like
Self-Destruct's good. Opera Love Song is good. I don't understand Suplex as much. Like I feel like instant speed on a Braid matters more than exiling, but I guess it's fine.
Mirror. It was like the mindset, because it exiles the creature, which is important against like big Heartfire heroes.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can see that. If your plan is you want to board in Suplex in the mirror and you don't really care, like that's fine. I mean, I guess a Braid being an instant isn't like that relevant against Cutter, because they're still going to trigger their Cutter. So like if you care more about exiling Heartfire heroes, then I guess it's fine. But so yeah, the fact they somehow found 3 cards from Final Fantasy they put in their deck was like very surprising.
But good old Triple Worlds qualified Percy, he said resubmit and got 4th. That guy is unhinged. I know. I think you called Quinn the best Red player in the world, but
it might be Percy. Yeah,
I think it's gotta be Percy. He just Triple Worlds qualified with Red.
Yeah, with Red too.
Yeah, he did it all with Red. That guy is unhinged, man. Just crazy.
I think the funniest comment I remember seeing from your Discord was somebody, I forget who, was like, all this time, all of Percy's prep in the early access queue playing 0 changes Mono Red against me clearly worked out for him. And I was like, yep, that's true.
Yeah, I forgot about that. we got a good laugh out of it. All right, we're just re-queuing into Percy over and over again, playing 0 changes Mono Red.
Yeah,
in early access.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
All right, what else is on your interview sheet, Jacob? Oh, he's giving me the... All right, so tell us a little bit about, like, the vibes. Like, make us jealous. Lay it on. Tell us, what is it like to be at the Pro Tour, to be treated like a Pro Tour competitor?
I mean,
I know it's not like the RCs.
No, not at all. I mean, I remember telling you when I was like 5-3, like a good record, but not anything like crazy. I was like, Stanley, I can't go to another one of these like Magic Cons and not be qualified for the Pro Tour. Like they treat you like royalty over there for sure. I mean, like even just for the player registration party, like they give you just a bunch of packs just because why not?
Collector packs, right?
3 collector packs, 9 regular packs. And, like, collector packs are like what, $100 for Final Fantasy. So like, not cheap by any means. They give you like a really, this time wasn't really cool, but a really cool play mat, a cool like messenger bag.
Did you end up getting a second playmat for day 2?
No.
Oh, okay.
So it's just the one.
Yeah.
So like that's cool. They feed you at the Thursday thing. Like I don't know how they always do it because like obviously I've never this first one, but they gave you like a gift card for all the restaurants in the food court area. So they let you just like get food from there. Let you bring a guest, which was cool because they explicitly said they haven't done that in the past. So I was like really glad to do it this time because like I don't know many like pro players. Like I yap with Tipple, I yap with Min. I met some of the guys that I like talked to prepping for the event. But, like generally, it's not like I really knew that many people. So I definitely didn't want to be like the guy who's just sitting at a table by himself, just like eating his like chicken or whatever. So I was very glad they let me bring a guest. That was cool.
Was the gift card like a weekend gift card or like a Thursday night gift card?
Just a Thursday night gift card, unfortunately, because I definitely would have saved it if I could and got food like on a later day. But we were smart. We ended up just like getting like one meal for us to share, and then we just bought a bunch of like energy drinks and stuff like that, just like fuel us for the weekend. So that was good. So yeah, that was just Thursday. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, they have like a players' lounge area, which is just kind of like just this section like right next to the Pro Tour play area for players to sit in. They had like at the beginning of the day, they had juices, coffee, water, and like a pastry platters, like muffins, like random pastries, things like that, for players to snack on. And then they had a like special food every single day that they would bring out during the afternoon. So then Friday there was popcorn, Saturday was like Bavarian pretzels, and then Sunday were like a cookie platter. Yeah. So that was really cool.
Did you sneak a pretzel to Julianne?
I did. Yeah, I did.
Caught in 4K. He admitted it.
It was funny because she
Police
was like,
get him.
She told me, she was like, you gotta take a bite of it so they don't like, realize I'm just bringing it over for me. You gotta take at least one bite or two. Like, all right, fine, I'll take a couple bites. But yeah, no, I mean that was super cool. They had a TV that was streaming the like the Twitch stream for the Pro Tour,
Yeah.
and then like 2 couches that you could watch. Like that was also super cool because like while my feature match is going, there's like 30 like pro players just like all like watching the TV. So like that was super cool to like be there and see that. And then
let me ask you the question on everyone's mind. Everyone who went to RC Minneapolis is thinking one thing. How comfortable were the chairs?
Ooh, they were. The fact I don't remember means they were probably. Oh, was it Oh yeah, Hartford was the bad one.
Hartford, not Minneapolis.
Oh, Hartford was the terrible chairs?
Yeah, because it was.
You're right.
Because we were like, oh, Indy was so much better.
Yeah.
The fact I don't remember means they were probably pretty good, but I honestly don't remember. So,
Right.
like, probably at least A+.
In the ticketed play area, they weren't that bad. So I imagine the Pro Tour area was either the same, if not better.
Nice.
Nothing will ever beat the terrible quality of the Hartford chairs.
Yeah, those were bad.
No, definitely not. Oh my gosh.
But yeah. Yeah, so that was cool. I mean, the other thing they do, which is great, is obviously, well, not obviously, the Pro Tour starts at 9, and they want everyone there for 8:30. But the con itself doesn't open until 10, and so they let the Pro Tour players in earlier, which is great, because that line to get to, like, into the convention center on Friday and Saturday for the regular people was absolutely insane. Like the craziest thing I think I've ever seen.
I felt like I was being herded like cattle going in on Friday morning. It was line after line after line after waiting for 2.5 hours to then stand in another line. It was ridiculous.
Wow. So how long were you waiting in line on Friday?
So Friday morning, I went to the convention center with Nick, and I dropped him off. We got there probably around 8, and when we rode the monorail and we came up, and there was already at least 100, 200 people waiting outside the convention center to get in. So this was at 8 a.m. The con wasn't supposed to open until 10. So then my parents came. I found like a bench to sit in the shade, and I just watched hundreds of people just line up for an hour. And then my parents came around 9, and we went in line, and we just got herded into this giant group in the sun and just kind of stood and slowly made our way up to the door. And that was about 30 minutes. And then we got inside, and it was just, you could just tell that it was very chaotic because it was very loud. No one really knew, like, where to put all these people. And then they had little aisles that they probably fit 100 people each, I would say. And it was just metal gates forming rows. And I remember I got put in row 28, and they went down from like 1 to 35, and then we just stood there until 10 a.m. and then at 10 a.m. they opened number 1, and they let those people through, and then they opened number 2, and then etc., etc. And then it was just a swarm of people in the convention center.
Jeez. That's
the
crazy.
thing I remember was when we were going in, because they had this just like snake design, and Julianne, what were there, like 12 switchbacks where you would go down and back and down and back and down and back, and it got where, like Becky, Julianne's mom, is holding onto my backpack kind of, and I'm like, Julianne is, so we were like making sure that we stayed together by holding on to each other. And and when Becky and I went in, we actually went in the lobby area. There was like a little restaurant thing off to the side, and I didn't have to be in there right away. Julianne had an event that started pretty early. The event I was going to do didn't start until after lunch. So we kind of went and set off on the side, and it was just a constant stream of people. And for never going to, a Magic Con before, it was pretty shocking. I've been to RCs and stuff, but I've heard that they said the attendance this year was something like 20,000+ people, and I have no problem believing that.
Yeah.
I mean, that whole hall was just packed
Crazy.
with people.
Sounds worse than the old DreamHack RCs. Those were pretty brutal to get into, but this sounds...
I feel like
Sounds much
the
worse.
Vegas events have always been like historically big, because I remember, I think it was like 2018, every year Splinter Twin got banned, like the week after they had GP Vegas, which was a double GP weekend. So like Legacy was Friday to Saturday, and Modern was Saturday to Sunday, and the main event for Modern, there were people who went undefeated and didn't make top 8, because there was like 4,000 people in the main event, and like...
Jeez.
It was crazy. That was the GP that Manny Davuti won playing Affinity, where he mulliganed to 4 in the finals and still won that game, because his opponent was playing like mono white and then just like kept a 1-lander and never drew a second land to cast Stony Silence until like turn 7. So like Manny was like, turn 1 Steel Overseer, turn 2 Arcbound Ravager, turn 3 Master of Ethereum, go, you're dead. It was good. It was a good match. I think the whole match took like 17 minutes, and 10 of it was sideboarding. But yeah, I kind of want to go to Atlanta this year for Magic Con. But I also, if it's like as bad as Vegas is, maybe I should just not. I don't know.
I hope that Final Fantasy was like a big thing that fueled it. Reading some of the stories about scalpers and all this like kind of stuff. Like people were I hope that was a big part of what made it so brutal. But
I think the mix of it being in Vegas and Vegas usually being the biggest Magic Con of the year, because they kind of have had one in Vegas every year that I've at least remembered, and I've heard it's been the biggest one. So between that and it being centered around Final Fantasy, and there was a lot of exclusive merch. Like, I think Ultra Pro had some exclusive play mats. There were some other, and they were all kind of Final Fantasy themed. I think that just helped to bring in more and more people. So I don't think Atlanta will reach 20 plus thousand like Vegas, but I do think it'll still be pretty big.
yeah. Speaking of
Yeah.
exclusive items, did you guys get one of those 25 VV play mats to commemorate the VV run?
No.
No, and I was just going to say there were people complaining about that playmat situation a lot because apparently whoever was the first one in line snagged every playmat. They bought all the playmats. There was no limit on how many playmats you could buy. They bought all the playmats.
Okay, all right. That's all right.
There was 25 total.
That's terrible. I
Yes.
don't want to. So I'm gonna redirect us back to the Pro Tour because we're
I
going
know,
down this rabbit
but
hole.
that's just so
yeah,
wrong.
that's terrible.
That is just so wrong.
I don't want to undercut how wrong that is, but I feel like we could spend a lot of time talking about all the things that went wrong. So I'm gonna re-pivot us.
Not something Magic Con related, but not something that goes wrong. But I cannot recommend enough for anyone going to Atlanta, get the premium weekend badge. Just pay the extra $50 to go from the regular weekend to the premium weekend and get the premium weekend badge. The merch and the extra things that you get are well worth the price difference. I will always, every Magic Con I'm going to, I will always get at least the premium weekend badge. So that's my strong tip.
Yeah,
All right.
as you guys know, Becky is not a Magic person, so we just got her the weekend one. In hindsight, had I known the difference, I would have gotten 2 premiums just because doubling up on the cool merch that came with the premium would have been worth the $50 difference by far.
All right, the pro tip has been dropped. You guys
I have another tip. If you qualify for the Pro Tour, you get all the premium badge stuff without having to pay for it.
That was that's definitely my can we even qualify for Atlanta though? Are we out of
No.
chances? Yeah, I think these guys are all
I
all
qualified the last possible chance I gave.
Right. All right. Well, you guys have fun in Atlanta. When is Atlanta?
September 26th to the 28th.
Yeah. And badges are on sale.
Oh, good. I will not be buying one. Actually, who knows, but probably not. Oh, Jacob's making a face. All right. Discussions for later. Pivoting all the way back to the Pro Tour. Final thoughts.
I mean, it was obviously an amazing weekend. I'm a little bummed that this is the second time where I did well in a big tournament where now my deck doesn't matter because I know Cutter's gonna get banned or something's gonna get banned and make it unplayable, I'm sure. So I want to just talk for hours about how much I love Crab and how much I thought my deck choice was really good, but at this point it really doesn't matter anymore, which kind of sucks, kind of feels bad, but obviously I did what I went to do. But yeah, I mean, I couldn't be happier with the result, and I'm excited for Atlanta. So, yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Absolutely just disgusting performance. 20th. First Pro Tour. 20th.
I'm no Ian Robb, but, I want to make a run for it.
No Ian Robb, but yeah, that's...
I'm just going to say
that's
that
disgusting.
I will forever remember seeing Nick coming out after his 10th win, coming out of the players area and heading over to his family and to us sitting at the table and seeing that expression, that joy and everything, for knowing that he had accomplished that, that was awesome. And I'm very happy that I was there to see it. I mean,
Yeah,
that was very cool.
Obviously, like, it means a lot for me. I mean, I've been playing this game for 13 years now. I've been my dream to be on the Pro Tour for these 13 years. I've had a hell of the last 2 years. Qualified for the same Pro Tour twice. Obviously, that's a little disappointing and sad because I go from never being on the Pro Tour ever to qualifying for the same one twice. So then, I end up missing my chance at the RCs to qualify for the next one. I'm like, okay, this might be my last run. And then I ended up 11-5 and being one win away from qualifying for the World Championships and end up going to the next Pro Tour. I mean, it's pretty surreal. Couldn't be more excited. Something I thought was really nice that I'll share is when I was talking to Derek Davis, and I was telling him, after he realized where he recognized me from, I told him, qualifying for the same Pro Tour twice, like, that feels kind of bad, but I'm just happy to be at 10 wins now. And he was like, well, that just means it's clear you belong here. And I think that just meant a lot because, again, this has been what I've been striving for pretty much my whole life. And so to hear an established pro say something so matter-of-factly like that to me just meant the world. So from my round 4 feature match to 2-0ing Reed Duke to being qualified for the next Pro Tour, it's just amazing. And hopefully I can be on the train for much longer.
Yeah, and with 11 wins, you need 8 wins in Atlanta to requeue, correct?
Yeah, we did you did research for me and told me what I needed, because I remember adjusted match points are this whole thing too. So
I found an official PDF.
Yes, so we learned from the official PDF that I only have to go 8-8 at the next Pro Tour to requalify, which, as I said before, like 10-6, like, that's really hard against the best players in the world. 8-8 is still really hard against the best players in the world, but 2 less wins needed is obviously a huge deal. And hey, if I do well enough, there's a I qualify for the World Championship on adjusted match points, so we'll see.
Yeah.
But,
So based on this new
12 wins.
So
Yeah,
based
or
on
just
this
12
new, so it's harder to qualify for the Pro Tour, but it's easier to stay on the Pro Tour, essentially?
Yes. Yeah, because
Okay.
So just the quick TLDR for how adjusted match points work is it takes the points you've earned the last 3 Pro Tours, and for each one you just subtract 9 points from it. So you need 39 adjusted match points to qualify for the next Pro Tour, and so I earned 11 times 3, that's 33 points, subtract 9 from that, that's 24. And so at the next one, I would need 8-8 because 8 wins times 3, that's 24. Subtract 9, that's 15. 15 plus 24, that's the 39 you need. So you essentially just take 9 away from the points you earned at a Pro Tour, and then you add that to your running total of the last 3. So right now I have 24 adjusted match points, so I need 15.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you're just gonna top 8 the next one and qualify for Worlds. Don't worry about the adjusted match points. It's fine.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, that's so cool. It feels like talking about modern. It's kind of let's do the B&R talk. I think Nick kind of soft transitioned us to that a little bit, in that his deck doesn't matter anymore. What's the other deck that didn't matter anymore? I feel like Leyline kept mattering. Phoenix
Didn't matter because they killed Pioneer. Yeah, they banned
okay.
Pioneer. Yeah,
I was gonna say Phoenix is still good, but they did soft ban Pioneer.
It was the same vibe too at that event. I mean, not to go too off track, but I remember I was playing Blast Zone in my sideboard, and I was one of the only 2 people in the room doing that because Coleman was like, "Dude, Blast Zone's the nuts." I'm like, "All right, I'll trust you." Like, sure. And I ended up absolutely loving Blast Zone. I thought it was an insane like choice for the weekend. And so then I'm like, I just want to tell everyone playing Phoenix, like, play Blast Zone, play Blast Zone. But it's like, it doesn't matter. Like, no one's playing Pioneer, and they probably never will again.
Yeah.
So, but
yeah. So BNR coming up on June 30th. To be honest, I'm gonna keep my notes / thoughts short because I'm just like over the discourse. But you guys can go to your heart's content. Obviously, Corey Stillcutter's broken. It's been broken the whole time. My favorite moment from our like paper playtesting when we like proxied up Tarkir was playing against Chamowitz. He was on Dimir Bounce and we played some game ones and I was like, all right, you want a sideboard? He was like, no, I can't beat that deck. So it just went from like, Bounce being the thing that eats aggro to like, it's not even worth it. I can't beat that deck. And then Corey Stillcutter literally just like completely bullied the Nowhere to Run decks out of the format. So, unfortunately, we got 3 months with Cutter. That's all we're gonna get. It would be insane if they didn't ban Cutter. It's clearly incredibly powerful. Anything past that is like, I don't know. There's so many interlocked dominoes that can fall, maybe will fall, won't fall. Manifold Mouse, Stock Up, This Town, Nowhere to Run, Beans. I'm sure I'm forgetting one of the cards that people keep crying about. The only other thing I'll say is Monstrous Rage does not need a ban. It's not the problem. If you ban Monstrous Rage, is it in mono red? Will still be two of the best decks in the format. Like, you need to kill the engines, not the 1 mana instant that can be countered by 1 mana instants in 4 out of the 5 colors. Like, Monstrous Rage is fine. Corey Stillcutter's not. The rest, I don't know. Nobody knows. Are they going to reset the format? I don't know. I don't want to say I don't care, but obviously we have no influence over it, so I'm just like, oh, I know Stillcutter's going to get banned. I'm chilling until we hear what else gets banned, and we'll just have to see what dominoes fall and which ones don't. I guess Omniscience is the other deck that people are hoping maybe gets clipped by the BNR, but Cutter's gonna go. Nobody knows what else is gonna go. For me personally, I'm just kind of sitting tight until we get the announcement. I'm not thinking too much about what I'll do. We'll find some way to play aggro and be vague, anywhere from vaguely to very competitive. It depends on how high on the meta chart the Nowhere to Run decks go after the BNR. Stanley out.
The thing I'll piggyback on that is, like you said, I don't love engaging in ban discourse because at the end of the day, like, what we think or say literally doesn't matter at all. I think it's fun to talk about it because it's just a cool conversation point, but like, it's really not worth getting that much into just because at the end of the day, Watts is going to do whatever they want to do. But the one thing I will say that I was talking to these guys at the airport about is that I think they either ban one thing or they ban 5 or 6 things, because if you just ban Cutter, like, that's fine. Like, just ban Cutter and see what happens. Like, it means that the Nowhere to Run decks can come back in. It means that Mono Red still has a great place in the format. I will say, like, I think the reason the Mono Red decks are having so much success is big in part because of Cutter, and all the hate cards people are playing for specifically Cutter that aren't good against Mono Red. So I think if you were to ban just Cutter, like, that's fine. But I don't think you can ban anything more than that without going ham, because then it's just this cascading thing. If you ban Cutter and Manifold Mouse, then Omniscience is just way too good. If you ban Cutter, Mana Flow Mouse, Omniscience, then the Beanstalk decks are way too good. If you ban those 3 plus Beans, then the This Town Bounce decks are way too good. So I think it's going to be up to WotC if they want to ban a lot of things or ban just one. But I think it has to be one of those 2 scenarios. If they ban just cards from the red decks, and I'm a little scared about the state of Standard because Omniscience is a horrible play experience and is, I think, kept in check by Prowess to a certain extent. So I'd be a little nervous with that deck if they just only ban the red decks. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens for sure.
Yeah, this is the last thing I'll say on the topic, because you reminded me of a good point. Someone said oh, I hope they ban Cutter, Manifold, Stock Up, Beans, and I was like, honestly, that's the one thing that would proactively piss me off. Just because then nowhere to run decks become the unquestioned best thing to do, and that just makes it so difficult to play aggro without Corey Steelcutter. I think that's the only ban that I would proactively just be pissed. I think anything else, it's well, that's a bummer. We had our time in the sun. We'll figure it out. But that would really send me if they were just all right, nowhere to run tier 0. Everybody else figure it out. Good luck. Stock it up. Yeah.
Except they can't because it's banned.
While everyone's busy talking about Standard bans,
are you going to go to Modern?
I mean, we've already hit the nail on the head for Standard. So
that's. I mean, if no one else has anything to say for Standard, that's fine. Because I had more to say about Modern, but I was going to wait till everyone's done with Standard first.
Okay.
Does anyone want to say anything about Standard bans?
All right, take it away, Jacob.
All good.
I actually think Modern's in a great spot right now. I don't necessarily think you need to ban anything. I really don't think the energy deck is abrasive. I think it's just very good because it's it just reminds me of what Jund used to be back in 2012, 2013, where it's just a deck that plays good cards that do a good thing and wins games. I'd like to see maybe Ponder come off, but part of me, the reason why I don't want Ponder to come off is I know there's a lot of people in Magic who have never cast the card Ponder, so they have no idea how to make Ponder decisions, which they're not as easy as you might think, especially with fetch lands, because it's kind of Brainstorm Light, but also it does different things than Brainstorm does. There's a part of me who would like to see if Glimpse of Nature is broken in Modern. It probably is, but Ochre Spellmasters exists. So, and then Jite, Umazawa's Jite, and Punishing Fire are probably 2 things that I think, if you think that creature decks are too abrasive, then you should probably unban one of those 2, see how it goes. I don't even think Stoneforge Mystic is necessarily playable in Modern. So I don't even know if Umazawa's Jite will be playable in Modern. They might play it in the sideboard for energy mirrors, but other than that, I mean, I'm looking at that ban list. I don't think anything else can come off, unless you want to throw some cool combo cards in there like Blazing Shoal or Hypergenesis, which I doubt. And then, I mean, I'd like to see Deathrite Shaman come off for the first time in 13 years, but also doubt. Black-White Ketchermos will play it. Blue-Black Frog will play it. Esper Ketchermos will play it. Mardu Energy will probably find a way to play it. Every deck will just abuse Deathrite Shaman if they can. That's all I got.
Yeah, I agree with the fact that Modern is in a great place. I think if you complain about energy, then you don't appreciate what we have in Modern, where the best deck is just a fair pile of cards. You trust me, you don't want a Modern where the best deck is a combo deck. Energy being the best deck is a great thing. So I think this is the best Modern has been since MH3 came out, honestly. I think since MH3, there's always been a tier S deck followed by everything else, but now it feels like there's a best deck, but I think it's in a tier with other decks, and multiple decks are finding success. I agree if they want to do any shakeups, like you could unban stuff, but I think the most realistic scenario for Modern is just no changes. I think the format's very good. We're in the middle of an RCQ season. Final Fantasy just came out and is shaking things up a little bit. So I feel like WotC is going to want to let that play out. So yeah, that Modern's great.
100. I didn't hear anything Jacob said, but I agree with what Nick's saying. Modern is the least awful it's been in a long time. Give me the TLDR, Jacob. Why? Were you saying the same thing?
Well, no, I said there was like a bunch of cards that I think they could unban. I know Nick would be happy if Bridge from Below came off, which I don't think the card needs to be on the ban list, considering it got banned because of Hogak, just like Faithless Looting did, and Hogak doesn't exist anymore. And it hasn't existed in the format since, 2018, Nick? 2019? So,
2019,
yeah. If some graveyard strategy became, the best deck because Bridge from Below got unbanned, I don't think there's so many one-mana cards that just say exile your graveyard at this point that I don't think it matters anymore. But yeah, I just said a bunch of cards that can come off, maybe, and then, if not, no changes.
Yeah, I didn't mean to bait you into repeating it for all the listeners because of my irresponsibility. But yeah, I mean, I think, like Nick said, the format is the healthiest it's been since MH3 came out, and we're in the middle of RCQ season. I would be shocked if they touched Modern. I feel like they've got to be like, I can't believe it's not broken. Don't touch it.
Yeah, literally.
I don't know how we did it, but
it's actually been
not undo it.
Very surprising to me how changing 4 or 5 cards in each deck that are these linear strategies make the decks feel like they're a different deck. I have been testing the Boros Energy list that plays 22 lands instead of 23 lands, and you're playing less copies of Spyro and Fable of the Mirror Breaker, and you're just all in on being essentially an aggro deck where your top end is Flage, and it just feels so much different than the deck that's playing 3 copies of Spyro, 2 copies of Fable the Mirror Breaker, less copies of X, Y, and Z removal spell, trying to be more of a mid-range deck. And then it's also you have the Black-White Ketchumos deck that plays very differently than the Esper Ketchumos deck, or if you want to play Mardu Ketchumos. There's a bunch of different ways you can build an Amulet Titan. There's a bunch of different ways you can play Belcher. A bunch of different ways you can play Storm. I haven't had this much fun. Last Modern season, I hated playing Modern. Everything about Modern made me not want to play it because of the One Ring. Was just unfun to play with and against. But now it's just I actually enjoy playing the format. I wish people would stop casting Cecil against me, but we'll get over that.
Yeah, I mean, I have been on the record as one of Modern's biggest haters for a long time, much to Nick's chagrin. He always wanted me to love Modern like he does. I definitely don't love Modern like Nick does, but I'm finally a Modern fan. If we don't have any more band talk, that's a pretty decent soft transition into. Okay, Jacob's got one.
We're gonna talk about all the formats. Unfortunately, I think the day has arrived where Entomb or Reanimate gets banned in Legacy. Unfortunate for our Reanimator friends out there. Rest in peace. But yeah, hey, this is an equal opportunity podcast. All right, we talk about all the formats. Just because you all don't play the format, I play the format.
No, I have stuff to say about Legacy and Pioneer too. Yeah. Oh yeah,
Pioneer.
Oh yeah, we can't. We could talk about Pioneer, but no one's going to. But yeah,
that's a format.
I think Blue Black.
Wait, I love Pioneer. Stop.
We all like Pioneer, it just doesn't exist. D&E. Oh, he's left. Yeah, I agree on Legacy. I think that I would be very bummed about it because for the first time in a long time, I've gotten like moderately excited about Legacy, and I just bought like 2 Underground Seas to play Reanimator, and so if they ban Entomb specifically, I'll be pretty disappointed, but I can't say I'd be too surprised considering they've had like 3 or 4 cards banned from it in the last 2 years, and it's still it's always the best deck even after that happens. I hope that they just decide to ban Tameo or something, just because like that card's like really oppressive in blue decks. But we'll see. I mean, I can't say I care that much, but I care enough that I'd be disappointed by it. I like those strategies a lot. Alright, we're the only ones talking about Legacy here, so is there any other formats you want to touch on? I don't play Pauper, so I don't really know what's going on Pauper, but I know some people in our area freaking love Pauper. So Pauper seems great. Pioneer, I literally don't know what's going on over there. I know people complain about Red. Maybe they should ban Manifold Mouse over there too. I don't know. Yeah, Mono Red, 25% of the metagame in Pioneer. That's crazy.
I don't know if that's because it's the best deck or just because no one's playing it and it's like the highest win rate deck. So
honestly,
it's
though,
like
true.
skewed.
I really
I actually will say I think it is more because no one's playing Pioneer. The event that I played on Friday was the Pioneer Cup, and I kind of thought I'd see a fair amount of mono red, and I saw no mono red. There was maybe one mono red player that I noticed in the tournament.
It was weird.
Yeah, it was very strange. It was like control, mono black.
So, like, who was it? Who's that guy? Jim Davis. Like, a bunch of people hated on him because he was like, oh, well, I don't know. I didn't see the clip or whatever, but he said something about, prowess is just number 1 because people aren't really trying very hard to beat it. Something like that. Like, people aren't innovating or players are lazy or whatever. There was a lot of people who were, like, upset about it. Which, like, it was, like, clearly not applicable to Standard, clearly isn't applicable to Standard. Like, the deck is overwhelmingly powerful. But in Pioneer, absolutely. There's no motivation to, like, why would the Moto Grinders do anything but just, like, keep playing the deck that's easy to play and you can, like, double Q and you can win with and get your ticks and your QPs. Like, there's literally no reason for Moto Grinders to do anything different. And those are the only people playing Pioneer outside of, like, Las Vegas events and stuff like that, where the meta was diverse because people like want to play the deck they own and the cards they own, and something that they think is powerful. Because who knows what's powerful? Nobody's really playing the format.
I'm glad you brought up that Jim Davis comment, because I was talking to some people at an RCQ last weekend about it, and I have like a rule of thumb when it comes to like looking at cards and they get spoiled. And when a card comes out, if it affects a form, like if it brings an archetype back in a format it's been dead in for like years, it's probably too powerful for Standard. Like, and that was my rule of thumb for Cutter, because I read the card, I was like, this card's playable in Eternal formats by like a heavy margin. Like, it's very, very good. At least in Modern. I couldn't tell about Legacy without casting the card, and I've been wrong before with like Dreadhorde Arcanist, but I was like, this card's probably too powerful for Standard, and I was right. I usually am. I'm just saying.
And you're modest too. No, I was just gonna say it was like, you talk about playing Pioneer in Vegas. There's 20,000 people there, and the Pioneer Cup event, which was like the big Pioneer event for the weekend, had less than 36 players in the event. I mean, I was happy because I got to play some heroic Pioneer, but it was like, wow, this is, I guess this format really, the nails are in that coffin.
They really banned a whole format.
What was the price
pretty much
for the event?
Yeah,
was it just that good?
Did you win like a collector box or something? Like,
no, I don't remember. I know you actually got like a physical trophy cup if you won. you got some a crap ton of ticks, for their prize wall stuff, and like tens of thousands of ticks kind of thing.
What did you score?
Oh, I scored like 6,000, 7,000 ticks.
All right, what'd you get for 6,000, 7,000 ticks?
A bunch of Final Fantasy packs and a couple Dragonstorm packs. Yeah. So it was fun. As a guy who enjoys Pioneer, and plus, Heroic's like a pet deck, so it was fun to play that, and it was entertaining, and saw some interesting decks to play against. Beat up on some Phoenix players. That was fun, and I know I wouldn't beat up on you.
What, they weren't as good as Nick?
Obviously not.
I was gonna say. I have played hours on hours against you on Heroic. I feel like I know Heroic like the back of my hand at this point.
Yeah, well, they hadn't seen Heroic very much, I don't think, so.
Classic Phoenix players, man.
Yeah.
Classic Phoenix players.
It was fun. But, yeah, the format is, there is no denying that format is just very, very, very dead.
Yep. Well, yeah, that wraps up band talks, I think. I'm getting some minor.
Wait, do we not talk about CEDH bands?
Oh. Actually, hold on. Let me get out my notes.
No.
No. I got some serious thoughts about.
Yeah, hit us with
them. All right. So I tried to smooth transition us a little on the Stanley actually doesn't hate Modern for once. So I actually, even though Nick was out of town, this is probably the first Modern RCQ I've ever gone to that Nick wasn't at. I feel like the only other Modern RCQs I've gone to were like, I'll go hang out with the gang, which Evan and Falcon and there was a good group at Cool Stuff Tampa, so I'm glad I went regardless. Falcon gave us the demographic breakdown. He's like, yeah, we had people from Orlando, people from Sarasota, people from the Newport Richie. We had some of the our crew, so it actually drew a pretty interesting crowd, I'll say. And yeah, 502. So I definitely could have taken the invite if I wanted to. It was a 2-slotter, and the semifinals would have been against my round 4 opponent, who I 2-0'd. They were playing Just Got Control, but they had 2 flages. I was talking to him after. He was very excited to talk shop and figure out how to make his deck better against Prowess. I was like, well, play the other 2 flages first of all. But he started with an Is It Wizards deck, but then wanted to add red, and he cut Flame of Anor and Flare of Denial, but then left in the Thundertrap trainers. So the deck was he obviously played well enough to go. I think he must have been 5-1-1 because we played.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
Do you remember a year ago when people were playing the Crackling Drake blue-red control decks? Yeah. And I was like, I'm not even playing Crackling Drake in Pioneer, yet these people are playing it in Modern. That's how I felt when you just said they cut Flame of Anor but kept in Thundertrap Trainer. It's I'm not even playing Thundertrap Trainer in my standard deck, but we're playing it in our Modern decks. What are we doing, people?
Yeah, I mean, he's
Flame of Anor's a reason to, but without Flame of Anor, it's what are we doing?
That's why I kind of pointed out. I was clearly he started with a Wizard build, because Thundertrap, when you have Flare of Denial and Flame of Anor, is a fantastic card. That's what I was playing last Modern season, and I wasn't having the best time, but I was having a good enough time. But without those 2 cards, I was like, bro, you gotta get Thundertrap Trainer out of your deck. He's like, yeah, that checks out. But I mean, he played well against me. My deck was just better, and he beat Falcon in quarters. He beat 4 people to get to top 8, so his unoptimized deck did not stop him from doing pretty well. He was a nice kid. It was pretty funny. our matches finished around the same time, and he was like, the other match is still going on. Like Jackish is there, Falcon's there, and he's like, "Do you have an invite?" like very like cautiously, because like I said, we had already played, and he knew what was coming. He's like, "Do you have an invite?" I was like, "Well, I have one." He's like, so there's a chance, but that got a good laugh. So, but of course, I'm not going to two modern RCs, and I will be going to Spotlight Liverpool, which I'm really excited about. So I definitely did not want to take the invite from him, so we just restructured. I got some extra credit, and I was playing my Jeskai Prowess deck, and it was fantastic. I love the deck. It is the first time I have made a deck in Modern, and the first time I've enjoyed said deck. There's been a lot of times I've tried to brew against Modern, and I just wanted to like jump out of a window. But like we say, play the broken cards. So after Indianapolis, on our long 18 hours or so journey home, just like spitballed with Nick for like, I don't know, a couple hours of it, talking about all the things I hated about my blue-red build and ideas to use white to fix the deck, and they all just kind of worked. So it was great. I had fun. I cast my spells. I lost game one against all three combo decks that I played against, but I won both of the post-board games against them both, so that always...
What was the matchup spread? What was your journey?
I played against Alec on Titan, and I'm gonna go ahead and call him out. Game 3, he had the green 3/3 that for a colorless can exile a card, and if you like, if you have Delirium exiled with him, he gets +4/+4.
Keen-Eyed Curator.
Keen-Eyed Curator, there you go. So he plays Curator, exiles two types from my graveyard to take me off Delirium, and then on the next turn cycle, he like, I don't have Delirium, so instead he kind of like switches gears and is like, okay, I'll exile like a land instant or something, because I had a bunch of those, and that gave Keen-Eyed Curator Delirium. And then I think he forgot that he could like switch gears back to keeping me off Delirium, so I cast Monstrous Rage for lethal, but if he exiled the Rage from my graveyard with his last mana, he would have gone to 1 instead of 0. He probably still loses, but maybe not. Titan's an insane deck. But he didn't see the line, so I was just like, damage? And he was like, yeah, that's lethal. And I'm like, okay. And he starts scooping up his cards, and I'm like, alright. Like, the long pause on, like, is he going to see the line? And he didn't. So I told him later, but he was like, dude, I wasn't going to win anyway. Like, that, he wasn't left with enough, like, resources to win the game. I had destroyed his amulets, so he just had at that point he would have just had Curator plus what's the thing that lets lands come in untapped? Spelunking. Yeah, he had Curator plus Spelunking. I don't know what was in his hand, but he was like, I wasn't gonna win that game. I think I consigned chapter 3 of Saga during that game, so Titan always makes me sweat, but lost game 1, won the post-board games. Played against Dale on, like, Affinity Cutter. I don't really know what else to call it. It was, like, TMEO, Blue-Red, Cutter. He was actually playing Planisphere as well. I won fast game 1, then he like, killed me out of nowhere game 2. I was like, alright, we're fine, and then, like, Planisphere of all cards. Planisphere and Cutter killed me. Don't remember what happened in game 3. Played against Living End in round 3. Lost game 1. I don't remember how I won game 2. Game 3 was nice. I like kept him offline just long enough to where when he was finally able to resolve Living End, I had a Flage in the graveyard. I had 4 lands in play, and he was at 6. So I'm like, yeah, Living End resolves. Put my 2 DRCs into play. Put my Flage into play. 3 to you. Go to me. Escape Flage. Deal 3 to you. So Flage came in pretty clutch. And then I played against a kid on Just Guy Control. I call him a kid. He was probably in college. Game 1, I went fast. Game 2, I like pivot into my like big Just Guy plan. And I went through like half my deck, could not find a single Flage, and then I just went like Flage to kill him. After a very, very long game. What was he playing? He, at some point, we were doing some draw go action, and he taps 4 lands and he goes, I'm about to play a magic card you've never seen in your entire life. And I was like, it's modern, so probably. But then he flashes in a it was a white colorless 3/4 from
Restoration Angel?
Restoration Angel.
No.
Aw.
Wait. It exiled a card. Maybe, I don't know. It exiled a card on ETB, and then whenever you play a land or a card that shares a type, you make a 1/1 human. It's from
Cemetery
a recent set.
Gatekeeper?
Maybe that. It's from that set. The Innistrad.
I got so excited. I was like, Resto, my boy?
Yeah, it's like Snap Resto back in the day.
Yeah,
Blocking your opponent.
No, it was Cemetery something. Cemetery. Is it maybe Protector or Gatekeeper?
I'm way less locked into this conversation now after you debated me.
Sorry. It's
And I was like, hopefully he got this CMC wrong and he meant 3 and a white. Okay,
No.
this is
Shame on
Restoration
your
Angel.
opponent. Shame.
It's Cemetery Protector. White, and 2 colorless. Flash 3/4. When it comes into play, exile a card from a graveyard. Whenever you play a land or cast a spell that shares a type with the exiled card, create a 1/1 human.
I'm sorry, what deck was playing this?
Just got control.
Oh, my boy with the 2 flages?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find that man. I'm gonna give him a better deck.
Ask
this?
Falcon what happened in quarters, because
Oh yeah, Falcon lost to him on Demir Murktide. Should be a bye.
yeah. So I cast Lightning Bolt and Lava Dart and it died. It lived a couple turn cycles. It made like a 1/1, but it did not it did not have an impact on the game. So you can understand why he was like, yeah, you have an invite, right? So yeah, that was a fun match, and then sit around for 2 hours while the last 2 rounds finish up, because it was 6 rounds, and then played against Martin on Goryo's. Game 1, I had him super dead, and he was just like, fetch a Surveil. Oh, look, Atrax is in my graveyard. Goryo's? And I was like, ah!
2 in Modern, very good.
Yeah, it was, yeah, I had a great hand, a fast hand. I was like, I never beat combo in game 1, but this is going to be the time. Nope. He surveilled the Atraxa, but then, games 2 and 3 were like, I don't really remember what happened. The game just kind of eventually ended, and I somehow won. Yeah, it was a weird match. He kind of like fell into the nuts in game 1, and then was a bit more dirtily in games 2 and 3. And I had like, I guess, just enough pressure and disruption to end the games on time. So yeah, it was cool. It was fun. It's definitely the best I've ever done at a modern RCQ. I didn't try to get the 6th win, but I feel pretty confident that I could have. And I definitely wanted the store credit because I desperately needed sleeves. So bought all the katanas they had except the white ones. But I got every katana in stock that was not white. So yeah, I'm really happy with my deck. I would like if Liverpool wasn't happening 2 weeks before Houston, I probably even like Modern enough to go to two Modern RCs. Especially because I want to join Nick at the Pro Tour. I've been made sufficiently jealous, as if I didn't already want to make the Pro Tour. So, but Liverpool is obviously an opportunity I cannot pass up, and I cannot leave my family for 2 weeks straight. It would be too much. So yeah, it was a good time. I think the deck is really strong. You just have to be willing to play fair Magic, which not all prowess players want to do, but I think the stock blue-red prowess is just a bad combo deck and a bad fair deck stapled together, which is fine in some scenarios, but also pretty frustrating in a lot of scenarios. So I'm happy with the deck. It's a vaguely similar angle to energy, except without the life gain. So that's right where I want to be, right? Similar angle of attack, except I don't gain life unless I cast Flage, and I get to play my favorite cards like DRC and Swiftspear. So I'm having a good time. Hopefully the BNR doesn't screw that up.
I actually don't have a second invite for this season, despite being Pro Tour qualified. So I will be playing Jeskai Prowess this weekend, hoping to get a second one. And then hopefully that goes well. If it doesn't, then we're queuing back up energy. So yeah.
I also hope it goes well. Nick has definitely never played one of my modern decks before. But he vibed it out last night, and I heard the vibes were good. So here's hoping I can scoop to Nick in the finals of this RCQ.
Yeah, nothing hits home like energy does, but I still like casting Flage. So, but I will say, very unrelated. Well, no, it's pretty related. Anyway, I was looking back at my life as a Magic player, and it turns out that despite never thinking of myself as a red player, all of my best results have been playing red aggressive decks. So, hopefully Prowess can do me well. After the last time I played Prowess was probably 2017. So, yeah.
You are, as Reed Duke put it, a premier red player.
That's right. Reed Duke did say that. I forgot he said that.
Yeah.
Thanks Reed Duke.
You did say that. You're not quite Bitmoji Aggro King.
No.
Shout out to whoever called me that. But
Mason
Clark, there we go. Premier red player. Coming from Reed Duke, that's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Jacob, did you play any Modern this weekend?
Yeah, I lost in the top 4 of a RCQ to Slaughter, so I lost in the finals again.
Oh.
Playing Energy, so I'm 3 for 3 on top 8s this season. I've been playing a bunch online though. Like I said, I've been playing all the different variants of Energy. I tested the new Final Fantasy cards that Nick recommended, the one of Lightning, the 2 of Joshua. They were cool, but I mean, there's no reason to be playing Joshua when you can play Spyro, to be completely honest. Except the body is relevant in Energy Mirrors. That's the only thing I would say. If you're somehow after BNR XYZ, right, you're prepping for Modern RC and you think you're literally the room is gonna be 50% energy, play Joshua, right? It's very, very good in the mirror, I will say that. But I do not like the Mardu Energy deck. If I have not tested the versions that don't play Sephiroth, but I've been playing the versions that play Sephiroth. I have not gone better than 2-3 in a league. It's just, for some reason, it's why would I play Sephiroth when I'm already playing Bombardment in the deck? And I understand it draws cards and it flips, but I've literally never flipped the card. And if you're sacking your whole board to Bombardment, you're just killing your opponent anyways, which I will say, at the first RCQ I lost in the finals of, in my quarterfinals match, I played a Lightning. I had 7 creatures in play, played a Lightning off Arena of Glory, and I gave it flying with Guide of Souls, hit him, and then sacked my entire board to Bombardment after I hit him and hit him for 45. So that was pretty cool. And then played a bunch online. Today I have a good memory of playing against some weird stuff today. I played against like Blue Black Shadow today, so I don't count that as like regular testing. I played against Mono Black, Glaring Flesh Raker, Control Food, Asthmo, Cauldron Familiar deck, and game one that played Sephiroth too. That's and Thoughtseize and Fatal Push and Kozilek's Command. So a lot of things going on in there. But the highlight was I win game one, and then game two, my opponent like super overextends, and I'm just like sitting there. I'm like, oh, play this removal spell, play the Flage, and then they're like, they have one land in play, and everything they have in play costs 1 CMC. I just cast Wrath of the Skies, X equals 1, and they literally 15 permanents they have in play go to the graveyard. And they just like draw, it's 0 cards in hand. They draw, cast Thoughtseize, look at my hand, it's Spyro double Flage, and they concede on the spot. And I was like, well, that's probably the best deck in the format, so.
Love to see it. Yeah, commenting on the format health thing, I mean, when I fire up Moto, it's never know what I'm gonna play. I actually spent like I played a bunch of regular leagues, and I was like, gosh, why is everything I play against so random? Like, I want to get some reps against regular decks, so I switched to gold leagues, and I played against Energy back to back, and I won them both, and I'm like, all right, I'm ready for the RCQ now. And in my head, I was like, all right, I guess I'll just play these gold leagues, like, because the meta's more normal. And then I go back to the gold leagues, and it's just like pure chaos again. And I'm like, okay, so it's just chaos everywhere. Which is like, it sounds like I'm complaining because I was like a little bit annoyed because I don't expect that much chaos at RCQs. But overall, I think it's awesome. Like, I think diversity is a fantastic thing in Magic. It's what we want, and I'd much rather every round being like, I don't know what my opponent's deck does, hope I can figure it out in time, than like play Prowess Mirrors 8 times at an RC. Not that happened.
If you want to beat up on Energy, just play Domain Zoo. I'm like 0-15 in matches against that deck. I just like can't beat it. I literally lost a match today where in game one, my opponent kept a 1-lander with a Leyline, and my first 4 creatures they Leyline binding, and then they drew their second land and cast a Scion. I was like, why is this my luck? I was like, they didn't play a single creature.
Yeah, I have a very positive win rate against Energy with Jeskai Prowess. I just wanted to like play against it because I hadn't played against it in a long time, and I expected to see it at the RCQ, which like obviously I didn't. Like, honestly, the RCQ is nearly as random as Moto. I played against Affinity Cutter. We flash back to Living End, and then like Jeskai Control, but weird. Like, welcome to Moto. Goryo's and Titan, I guess, are the only like current popular decks that I faced. But Modern's healthy and diverse. I think it's cool. Even though sometimes I get neoformed and I'm like, nah, I don't want to play this format. I hate it. And I'm not going to say the rest of my internal monologue when I get turn 2'd by neoform. But it's not good stuff. You don't want to be there.
I do hate Neoform with a passion.
Is the internal monologue something like, I was born in the darkness, molded by it, you merely adopted the dark? or is it like a little bit, more deranged than that?
I'll say I've used that quote out loud many times. I would have no problem saying that out loud. Mostly because I get migraines from like bright lights, so I like generally live in a pretty dark environment. Like the lights are like off or like dim in my general area at all times. So yeah, like sometimes Tatiana will be like, I can't see anything. How do you see? And I'm like,
I was born in the dark. Molded by it.
Yeah, I was born in the darkness.
My neoform like external dialogue is just the Punisher. No, wait, don't do that.
That is my new favorite thing.
Yeah.
Now. I love saying that.
I use it too much. Yeah. No, combo decks in general, but I'm getting better about it. Like, I'm definitely come a long way since when B-Ross was comboing off against me at Golden Fang, and I was just like, screw this. And I walk away and I go grab a soda, I get a snack. I just like walk across the room. I'm like, you follow the rules of Magic while you combo off. And I come back, he's still comboing off. Like, ah. But that's modern. That's modern. Modern is definitely a different beast. There's a lot to get used to, but far and away it's healthier than it's been in a long time, and I'm just happy I get to play prowess. Makes me happy. And I don't know. Anyone else want to say anything interesting? Cool. Well, congrats again. Nicholas Odenheimer, top 20 at Pro Tour Final Fantasy. Just insane. Just it's hard to put into words. Just nobody's surprised, but everyone is impressed nonetheless. That was fantastic stuff, and I enjoyed hearing all the details, and I hope our listeners did too. And I already really wanted to qualify for the Pro Tour, and I definitely want it even more because it sounds cool. You make it sound like a good time, so let's all go qualify for the Pro Tour, yeah?
Yeah, I think our friend Jackish is more motivated than he's ever been in his life, just because he wants to try to one up me so bad. Like, listen, man, 20th your first Pro Tour. Good luck beating that. Unless you're being Rob.
It's really just about the snacks. He wants the snacks. That's
honestly,
what it is.
that's like pretty high up on my list. Free pretzel.
Yeah, that's definitely cool.
Free playmat, say less.
Yeah,
that's all I'm there for.
The playmat. Oh, I want it. I need it. It's yeah. Jackish is a funny guy. I like Jackish a lot. He makes me laugh even when he's not trying to.
I love Jackish.
Yeah,
he's my boy.
The best thing that happened at that RCQ, I was sitting right next to Falcon. Falcon thought seizes his opponent or something. I think he thought seizes his opponent. He takes him and he's like, alright, I'll take this, you can go ahead. And the guy's like, okay, I'll fetch in your end step. Then Falcon picks his hand back up while the guy's fetching, looks at his hand and goes, I didn't play my land for turn. And the guy's in the middle of fetching, he's like, so they call over Jackish, explain the situation, and Jackish is like, well, you can't play a land in your end step.
So insane.
And he didn't, like I said, he wasn't trying to be any way. He was just genuinely very, like, he thinks about it, he wants to get the call right. He doesn't want to screw anyone over, and he's just like, can't play a land in your end step. And Falcon, of course, took it like a champ, as he always does. So that was a great final note. Just in case you didn't know, you can't play lands in your end step. Make sure to play those. Make sure to play those in main phase 1 or main phase 2.
Can you do it in the blocker step?
You cannot, actually.
Okay.
I
Thank you.
can, but you cannot.
Got it. Good enough. Good enough.
Yeah.
There's land favoritism now?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes,
only
yes.
certain players can do this?
Mm-hmm.
How do I get this membership? Is this part of your Patreon?
Yes,
If-
If you
y'all
subscribe to my Patreon, you can play your lands during combat.
Ooh. Spicy combat trick action.
Yeah. It's a new...
Have you ever monstrous rage with 0 untapped lands in play? Well, now you can.
Yeah, you just use Vivi.
Yeah, there you go.
Vivi's ability is instant speed. It's crazy.
It's too good. It's too good.
Alright. Yeah, I guess I forgot my Patreon existed. Patreon exists. There's like cool stuff there. Discord, cyber guides, all that kind of stuff.
Look and subscribe to the podcast.
Yeah, subscribe,
That's an important one too.
Like, Feel free to comment.
We like the thumbs up.
Do
like
Follow
the
me on
comments.
Twitter.
follow
I'm trying
Nick
to get more
specifically.
Twitter followers.
Follow Nick specifically on Twitter. Don't
Yeah.
follow the rest
Stanley
of
has
us.
enough followers, but
Yeah, don't
I
follow
I could use some
anybody
more.
else.
Yeah.
Actually, I broke 2,000 recently, which was like kind of exciting for me. I want to do a giveaway. So actually, we're going to Game-O this weekend. So I'll pick up something at Game-O to give
Oh,
away.
they're gonna say you're gonna do a giveaway at Game-O. Oh, I was so excited.
No, I'll probably have to like do it on Twitter or Patreon or both. Probably. I don't know. I'll see what I can find at Game-O. Help me remember to pick something up at Game-O to do a giveaway with. So yeah, look out for that. But follow Nick. Don't follow me. Follow Nick. There's gonna be some heavy play links somewhere. You can use those to get
That's
10%
true.
off your heavy
That's true.
play order. You can choose Nick's link or my link.
You should use mine. I
You
haven't
should
gotten
use
any
Nick's.
yet.
Don't use mine.
Yeah.
Um,
My jacket's been in the feature match area.
That's true. You can actually, we're gonna auction Nick's jacket off. He's worn it in the feature. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. My sweat has been ingrained into this jacket.
He has sweat in it for so many feature matches.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
Honestly, Jackish would buy it.
He would. He would love
Jackish
to.
and Falcon would be bidding on it.
They would be bidding, yeah. But they would use different like names so no one knows.
Yeah. Of course, they would act like they didn't know what was going on. Thanks again, Flexlot, flexlot.gg. Yeah, Nick is a king, and the rest of us are gonna try and catch up. But in the meantime, congrats, Nick. Fantastic run. I keep saying it, which is because it should be said many times. So yeah, thanks everyone for watching or listening. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.